Afternoon, guys. My name is David Magier. I'm a channel, and I'm coming on today to do a little talk on some concepts that's been weighing heavily on me. I'm going to be breaking down some examples of what it is that I'm talking about um, to make it a clear explanation, but this is going to go longer than 2 minutes. And I know for most of you, you don't have an attention span longer than 2 minutes, so most of you are not going to listen to this. Um, so it's just the way people are built these days. I could have the Buddha, Jesus Christ, and Shiva behind me doing the can, but if they're going to dance longer than 2 minutes, you're not going to want to watch. So, but for those that do care to listen, I'm going to break down some concepts going on in modern days and why, as a group, we really need, in my opinion, to be aware and be advised how harmful it actually is and understand the reasoning behind it. Because to me, I see things going on that's actually damaging the group mind. And there's a wonderful opportunity before us, but we can't really take responsibility and be part of it because we're too busy being distracted and don't even know that we're being distracted. And so today's talk is going to really go ahead and break down what the hell am I talking about and what do I mean, and put it in a concrete, sequential way. Recently, to be honest with you guys, I've been at the point of really deciding to pull completely out of the New Age movement community, to stop doing readings at stores, to stop doing lessons and channel sessions, stop doing lessons, and just pull back to what I was doing, which was making videos and posting them on my YouTube channel. When Nathiel first came through, the very first lesson he did was based on, he had said outright that what it is for the information I'm here to give, that this generation is not ready for it. They don't have the ears to listen to it. That my directive, that the information was for the generation being born now, not to educate them, but to affirm that which they already know. And a large part of, like, everyone talking about, the age of the fire horse, all of these conjunctions, how it's going to affect us, and all this talk, one of the things people don't consider is that these are going to be souls' birth charts. Souls are coming in right now with these as their birth charts. And there are conjunctions happening that have never happened before, in our recorded history. And to me, I asked the question, what type of level souls would need a particular chart to come through with certain type of influences to be able to bring through higher aspects of soul into physicality? And if these conjunctions don't say the birth charts that's required and necessary, we're looking at it as usual from the I. How is this going to affect me? How is this going to affect my daily life? And not looking at the point of what souls are coming in with these conjunctions as their birth charts. And what impact are they going to have? Because the influences that we're talking about that's going to affect our society, this is going to affect their entire life. This is their source. This is their personality. This is what's coming through them. So they're going to be powerful beings. And the information that Spirit has collected and put on the YouTube channel is supposed to be there for them, to remind them, to affirm that which they already know. And he made it clear that the information would not be accepted by this generation. This is the end of ego. Those kids are the new age. We get the choice to be the deciders of the new age by protecting those kids with our hopes and dreams, to encourage them to be who they are and not let society chew them up and spit them out like we've done with every generation that's come in with a message and tell them to forget it and force them to doubt themselves. and to create laws and, different things to stop what it is that they're here to do. You know, they made it really clear in one of their lessons that if we do this, you know, and do to them what we've done to every generation that's come through before, which is force them to, you know, acclimate to what we are versus us allowing them to be who they are, allowing God's voice to shine through, that it would create a very dark day for humanity indeed. So these souls coming in are really, really, really important. Now, my point with that is that through the work that I've been doing, you know, that wasn't a good enough answer for me. What Spirit had shared, that you're not going to get it. And I've had every single reader, every single healer that I know, everyone that I talked about what it was I was planning on doing before starting this, you know, tell me, this is amazing stuff, Dave, but they're not going to get it. And I've actually shared that in all of my classes. If you've been to one, you know I've said that. And I've asked, how does that make you feel? You know, my inspiration for doing this was someone should sit before people and give them their options. Actually explain it to them. Actually make it make sense to allow people to have a choice. How could you honor free will if you don't actually give a choice? And I've been at this now for a year, and I'm realizing, no, Spirit was right, and so were the people that warned me. People are not ready for this. And so it kind of leaves me at a point of realizing I don't really serve a purpose with this. So I don't know where it is I'm supposed to be, but I don't feel like it's within a New Age community. It's just too difficult to try to get people's attention to just hear me out, hear them out. You know, and I've been as clear as possible what it is that's being offered. So this is an example of what it is I'm talking about within a New Age community for concepts that are actually causing us damage and we don't know about it. The first one I'm going to talk about is timeline shifting. You know, it's a new phrase, it's a new thing. I've heard several times in channel meetings of, you know, them suggesting, well, if you don't like what's going on in, your current version of Earth, timeline switch, because there's an Earth out there that is not going through this and you could be there instead. And I've heard channelers, the physical channelers, talk about this like this is an option. Timeline switch. You don't have to stay within that reality. You create the reality that you want. Everything else will pass by you and not affect you because you're not in that reality. You're only in that reality if you choose to be. Now, first off, timeline switching, is it possible? And the answer is yes. Most of the people that, and this message is going to the people that go to meetings, go to channel sessions, pay for this crap, and hear this. The first question that you should ask is, have you timeline shifted and what did you experience? It's an important question because you'd be surprised how many people haven't, but they're talking about it like it's real. But they can't direct you how to do it. And this sounds like I'm accusing the community, and in a way that I am, yes, most certainly. But there's also the understanding that comes with it that this is about, for the people that go to the meetings, you are a certain frequency and level of consciousness. Then there's the people that run the meetings, and they are a certain frequency and level of consciousness. And when you approach them, yet you feel that they're a higher vibration than you. And so therefore they must be telling you the truth. And the thing of it is from their perspective, they are. They just are not consciously aware of what they're actually teaching and why it's set to fail. And so I want to put that out there as a basis of understanding that though it sounds like I'm saying you're being manipulated, you know, I would hope to believe that most are teaching it from a good heart. Some I know definitely aren't. They know they're full of crap and teaching it anyway. I've witnessed it. I've seen it. And you'd be surprised. But either way, here's understanding why I say it's full of crap. When I studied as a student to learn the channel, the one that came through my teacher, physical channel, was named White Rock. He had a very different term for it. He called it pulling the red threads of karma. Now, he had a totally different expression from it. I experienced it. And when it occurred, you know, it was literally like watching an energy pull out from present point, you know, my life now, by a decision that I made over a particular energy that I carried. Instantly, when I declared I am, and it was I am not that energy, and did it with a surety, it instantly pulled out from my life, but it also changed instantly past life and instantly changed future life. I watched it happen all at once. So there's plenty of teachers out there, whether you go to Buddhism, certain senses of Christianity, channel sessions, where they'll all say it's all happening now. It's all one soul. Those is one of those moments where you pull it out from one place, it has to pull out from everywhere else. And that's what White Rock meant by karmic red thread. When there is possible for your past life to go ahead and make a decision that pulls out a karmic red thread from your life, and reality shifts instantly based on I am. That's how powerful our minds really are. Now, here's the point. All of that is a bunch of bullshit. And here's the reason why. In what they don't tell you, what they don't explain, because they actually haven't experienced it, they have no experience with it. They're standing before you, talking like a parrot saying a prayer. Ooh, this is a hot term. Let's talk about this. Just timeline shift. And most disturbingly, I hear this come through channeled meetings where what's coming through is talking about it as a solution. Here's how that actually works. It doesn't matter me explaining that to you. Who just heard it is the ego, the I centered. And it can't do anything with it. It's not capable of doing anything with it. We, as a group mind, are still learning the basics. That is advanced calculus. We still need to learn the basics. What do I mean by that? The basics is, and I'll put it to you in a question. Why is it when we go to a healer, and whether it's Reiki, energetic healing, shamanic, whatever, the client that comes before them, generally, always, the first 3 chakras are closed. Always. We have security issues, we have power issues, we have grounding issues. Over and over and over again. And it don't matter how many times we go to the healer, it's still there. They're not functioning, they're not open. The basics is learning to be in our vessel and actually having all the chakra systems open and functioning as one breath, as one perception. And we're not there yet. Let me repeat that. We are not there yet. And so you go into the New Age community, let's talk about traveling to the 5th dimension. Shouldn't we master our dimension first? Shouldn't we understand how to ground simply getting out of bed in the morning? Shouldn't we know how to be spirit and body and have the chakra system open and working as one? How are you going to go to the 12th dimension? And what's the point of going to the 12th dimension? What's the point of aliens coming in and saying that they're from the 6th dimension? Other beings channeling through and saying they're from the 12th dimension. We, as an entirety, have not learned the basics. So why are we learning advanced calculus? Why are we, the phrase of the day, timeline jumping? Oh, if you don't like what's happening on this earth, jump to another one. In order to do that, this is from experience. All of the chakras have to be open. You have to understand how to properly ground. You have to quiet the mind. You have to get to the point that you understand thoughts and emotions are not you. They're reactionary agents. You have to stop giving them your attention and learn to put that attention inward where it belongs, where Jesus pointed. Inward is the Father. And there's lots of ways to go ahead and say that. That's not in Christian form, but most people are familiar with that. What does he mean? Why did the Buddha say something very similar? Why do the Indian religions say something very similar? All from different time periods, all from different cultures. You need to know that answer. And you're not being taught that. No, let's talk about timeline jumping. Let's talk about different dimensions. Let's talk about higher energies. Let's talk about healing energies. How about we learn the basics? How about we learn the power of free fucking will? If you don't understand how powerful your free will is, and the responsibility that goes along with that, what are these other concepts going to do for you? Let me explain. Nothing. They're not a path. Ooh, I had a moment of a great feeling. Uh-huh. And the Spirit would say, and did that lead you to permanently being in the moment? Did it make that a possibility? Did it become an experience that you can choose to control? And the answer is no. No, it didn't. You know, all of our DNA resequencing, all of our, let's go to the acoustic records, let's go into sound bowling and relax, and that's a bit separate because that is, to relax. And they make that clear. But all the other ones that are out there, let's do some Reiki sessions. My favorite coming from the channeling community is the claiming that I'm sending energy your way. That if you accept it, it's an initiation. It's going to heal you. You had fear removed. Have you heard that one before? Anything similar? It's a crock of shit. It's a total fucking crock of shit. Let me explain why. Have you ever had a relationship, and we've all had one, where we love that person, but we don't understand yet what love actually is? And so our version of love is that we're not focusing on the person that's before us, we're focusing on the potential that they can be. And because we believe in that potential and we love them for that potential, we assert our will against them to try to force a change, to try to break a behavior, to try to get them to act the way we think that they should. Anyone have a type of relationship like that? And what happens at the end of it? What was the painful lesson that we learned every time? Is that we cannot control the will of another, because eventually the person changes back. And the biggest hurt that we get is because we thought, I'm giving you so much, I've sacrificed so much for you to become. And you change back to exactly what you were before this all started. I'm offended, I'm hurt. And meanwhile, it was just an energy of understanding free will. It wasn't personal. You were using a method, all of us, because we've all had it, used a method of love that doesn't work. We used our will inappropriately. Sure, the person changed behavior for a while because they really wanted to not disappoint us, because they really believed we loved them, when in truth, we didn't. That's not real love. It was control. They didn't know the difference between real love either. And so it was agreement between the both. But eventually, the person gets tired of being assaulted by our will, and they change back. Right to where always they started from. And so what does that mean? It means understanding free will. You created your universe. If you will not change it, it will not be done. No person can make you change, period. And we have actual experience in our interpersonal relationships of experiencing that, of seeing and testing it, that's true. It's absolutely true. So why not take it to a larger level? There's not been once in my life that the force that I call God, whether you call it goddess, whether it's source, or whether you call it Mr. Snugglepants, whatever you call it, that energy has come through and said, I'm going to change you, voila. And we were just doing the dishes. And suddenly we're a whole different person. There's always a matter of agreement and us being willing. And so it's one of those moments, as far as for the change, that we're in alignment with it. And sometimes it takes us a while to realize that we were there. But God doesn't change our will. If you think it does, then how do you explain this planet? This is God's will? This is as it described the Garden of Eden? Or is this what we're doing with God's gift of free will? That sounds like a better explanation to me. You choose and decide how you want to see it. But at the end of the day, nothing changes anybody's will. Only they do. So if that's a true statement, that God gave free will, and you're free to do with it what you will, and that it itself will not come in and change your will, then how are these beings coming through these channel sessions going ahead and saying, I'm beaming energy at you, and you released your fear? Do you know what the hell they're talking about? Is it supposed to be psychosuggestive? Because that sounds very similar to the relationship I described previously. Isn't it the same technique that we used of not understanding love? And I see your potential, so I'm going to try to force a change through my will against yours? How is that any different? Oh, the difference is it's an archangel coming through. The difference is it's a high-level alien coming through. The difference is there is no difference. Let me repeat that. There is no fucking difference. If it's true for us, why would it be different for them? So how is it possible to go to these channel meetings and them saying, I'm initiating you through sending vibes your way? You've released a whole bunch of fear. You are the seat of consciousness. If it was possible for your higher will, your higher self, your higher mind, whatever you want to call it, to just jump into the throne you sit in and make the change, don't you think it would? Don't you think our group mind would reflect differently than what it currently is? So it follows free will. Spirit says all the time that their purpose of communication with us, at least for the ones I work with, is not to teach you. It's to poke holes in your reality. Not for you to believe what they say. That's not their goal. That's like a parrot saying a prayer. It means nothing. Their goal is to get us to say, what if? What if they're right? They laid down enough structure to make us go, things that make you go, maybe I should consider that. Why? Not because the energy goes to them, because the moment that we become open-minded to say, what if? That's enough for the higher self, your higher mind, to say, let me present it. Because before that point, in order for it to present it, it would have to break your free will. Free will is a complicated subject. It's not just me, the physical personality. The higher mind has free will, so does the subconscious. All of it has free will. And because we see it as separate, because we're not aligned yet, doesn't mean that it doesn't have free will. So you have to be willing, in order for your higher self to kick in and give you a new possibility, give you a new experience. What does that mean? It means a book comes your way. And out of the book, one paragraph sets every hair on the back of your neck on fire and stands up straight. That was the only thing the book was worth. That one paragraph. That was its point, its sticky note. One conversation with a friend, and they say one sentence that phrases a certain way, and boom, a new teacher comes in. And I'm going to take that course because I feel like I should. And out of the entire course, that's maybe 5 hours long, you get 2 minutes of something that just sets your brain on fire and you see life differently. That's what you were there for. All of that is arranged in cooperation with your higher mind, following the trail of breadcrumbs. But unless you say, what if, then none of that is possible, because you think you know reality, because you think you understand, and because you're so sure of what you think and what you feel, you're not willing. Do you see how free will gets tricky? But back to the examples. Timeline shifting. In order to timeline shift, the first step is having this aligned, the basics. How to balance the mind, how to quiet the thoughts, how to focus so that you're willing for the energy of your higher mind to be in the body with you at the same time. But before any of that can happen, you have to first ground the physical with the energy of the earth. And when you do, it doesn't require a healer to open those chakras. That's why every single time they open them and you go back, they're closed again. You're not doing something wrong. And that's the way it's portrayed. You're involving yourself with energies that reclose them. You're not doing something wrong. If you understood the basics of how to ground your energy, those chakras would naturally open. They are closed because you don't even know how to ground your energy, to feed it, to sustain it, to give it what it needs. You don't even know that your body is malnourished. It's been malnourished so long, you call it normal. And there's nobody teaching the technique on how to naturally open it and feed the body. But they certainly are teaching things like timeline jumping. And without this open, without taking care of the basics, in order to timeline jump, you need the higher chakras. It doesn't happen on this level. When we talk about our mind, we're talking about the chakras that lead way up as part of our perceptions. You can't access that unless you have the Tower of Babel complete. For someone to come along and open up your higher chakras in healing, run. Run as fast as you fucking can. Get out of there. Opening up the higher chakras without understanding the basics can cause insanity, can cause your mind to split. Because that's what the essence of Tower of Babel is. It falls in on itself because it hasn't been constructed right. You are the Tower of Babel. And you need to have your foundation set, the basics. So timeline jumping isn't possible. You can't get there from here. So talking about it, oh, you don't like what's going on your earth? Just simply switch. You don't want to take part in the negativity happening out here? Just be positive and timeline switch and it'll pass you on by. I'd like people that say that they believe that to test it. Let's go down to Florida when a Cat 5's coming in and we're going to stand on the beach. Well, you'll stand on the beach. I'll be somewhere safe. And you can timeline shift. And I'll come back after the storm and see how you're doing. Don't hand me that bull crap. Make it real. Timeline switch while you're on the beach while a Cat 5's coming in. And if I come back and you're standing there without windswept damage or not dead, I will be a firm believer. But I know, and you know, that's not going to happen. And they know it too, which is why they'd never do that. Without being able to access the higher chakras, working with the higher mind in alignment as one is not possible. Before we learn any of that, we must learn the basics. And no one is teaching it. No one is teaching it. And you know why? They don't know how. So why is all this information? Again, for the people going to these meetings, you're getting all this information and it's not working. And in the end of it, why? Oh, we step back and say it's your fault. You didn't work it right. Excuse me. You know, you didn't process it right. You didn't believe. You weren't positive enough. All this bullcrap. Show of hands, how many people have tired hearing that? You don't understand the basics. And no one is telling you the required and necessary in order to jumpstart the aura system to be in alignment. They're teaching you you're supposed to choose to be in alignment. How could you choose with half your chakras shut down? You don't even know what a correct perception is. You understand it from the point of the crown. Let's talk about the mind. Let's talk about intellect. Let's include some emotions. Sure, we've got some third eye. Some of us can talk. Some of us have that closed down. Oh, it's because we're not feeling safe. It's because our chakra's not open. Why would you feel safe? I feel threatened all the time. The chakras is closed. It's not being fed. Of course you don't feel safe. Oh, it must be my trauma from the past. How do you know? Who's telling you this crap? If you don't know how to naturally feed it the energy that's required of the earth, to have it naturally get the energy it needs to open, This is the same thing as a logic of going ahead and saying you're going to do a 10K marathon run. You've never run before. You did not feed your body correctly. In fact, you fed it incorrectly. You're starving. Your muscles are in atrophy. You have no energy left in the cells. But you're going to run 10K and be positive about it. And if you don't make it to 10K, it's because you weren't good enough. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say not good enough? I meant to say you weren't being positive. You got to believe in manifestation. Do you see it? Can you understand? There are energies coming through that are teaching us things that they have no moral right to teach us. They are telling us to run a 10K without teaching us the basics, how to feed our bodies. Not food, the energy required for it to finish the birthing process, for the spirit that is within to actually exist within the body, for our perceptions to be whole. Each chakra is part of the perception of what you are. With it closed and not working, it puts it in its, what we would call its negative form, a lower vibration. And then we walk around saying, why do I feel so bad about myself? It must be my parents' fault. And don't get me wrong, they did some messed up shit. But is that why you actually feel like you're starving down there all the time? That I don't have support. I am not safe. I am not grounded. How do you know? You've been being fed this line of bullcrap about this being connected to your past trauma since the 60s. And there's an importance, let me be clear, for the trauma we do have to go ahead and be able to work with the subconscious, give it form, give it understanding, and be able to come up with coping mechanisms for it. For example, use an extreme, if you've been raped, then that has an effect. When someone touches you, you have an effect of a curl back. I know that from personal experience. So I'm not talking about that. Put that aside. That's its own category. What about the rest? Constantly self-doubting, constantly feeling bad about yourself, constantly have the mind attacking you, constantly having the thoughts and emotions tell you why you're not worth it, why you didn't do enough, why it's too little, what you should have done instead. Thoughts and emotions are reactionary agents. The sponsoring energy, the intention, is what drives them. They don't care. Their job is physical construct. So they make shit up is what I'm saying. So why do I feel so bad? Well, let's pull from the subconscious and pull something up. That's why. Why do I keep going through it when I've already been to therapy and been through the breathing exercises, been through the realization of the trauma and drama, breathed it out, felt great, but I still don't feel worthwhile? Hello? What are these three? Closed. Not open. So that puts them in their, what we would call negative form. That's an intention. That's a sponsoring energy. So what would the thoughts and emotions do? Automatically rearrange to find a way to give it physical construct so that you can understand it. So you can get up in the morning and go to the supermarket to buy a loaf of bread. So you can go to work. So you could talk with your friends. But meanwhile, everything that you're experiencing is a lie. It's a complete and total lie. And there is a whole industry built on taking advantage of that. But what they're not telling you is the basics. They're not teaching you how to naturally feed those chakras so they blossom. So the lotus blossom unfurls. So you give it the dirt, the water, the sunlight that it needs. Earth. The energy of the earth. But I'm going to rewrap all that in a New Age community into being positive, something that I sell, something that you need, and you're going to feel better when you come to my meeting because I am positive. I am going ahead and giving this radiant energy, but by right of consciousness, because these are closed, those are the holes at the bottom of your cup that you keep trying to find out. Why does this keep leaking out? There's the holes. That's what's at the bottom of your cup. Closed chakras. And so before we go into any of this stuff, people need to realize and understand that if no one is teaching you the basics, then what are you learning? Because without correcting the issue and opening up all the chakras, what's the point of going to different dimensional energies? You're not capable of it. You haven't mastered simply being present. Do you know what happens when you're in alignment and all your chakras are open? You're in the moment. You know that rare thing that everyone keeps talking about? And I'm not saying it's love, light, and fluff to get there. Rewiring the brain to be in the moment and to stop paying attention to the thoughts and emotions is one of the most difficult things you'll do in life. But when you're desperate enough, you'll do it. And if you don't want to, I'll see you next life. You'll still have the same problems, different face, different body. I guarantee it. Why I say that? What about your friggin' past lives now? What do you think you've been avoiding? And you can continue avoiding and go into the future. There's no right or wrong. The question is, when do you get sick of it? And the big thing is, no one is sitting down before you and telling you your options. And I guarantee you, I'm coming to the end of this video and I'm here alone. No one listened. Because something happened within 2 minutes of your thoughts and emotions saying, squirrel! And you ran off like a slave. Let me repeat that. A fucking slave to your mind. You sit in the throne of creation. You are the spirit in the body. And you have become so degraded that you don't even know you're being led by your thoughts and emotions like a will-o-wisp through the woods. That's why no one got to the end of the video. Is because you can't pay attention that long because your thoughts and emotions bring up something else and you're off and running. You're never in one place. How could you possibly be in the moment? And if you can't be in the moment, how could you even understand the basics? And if you can't understand the basics, what's the point of someone telling you about timeline switching? And I make this point again. For the human person teaching it, they don't even know the basics. Or why would they be teaching it to you? Why would they tell you this is an option? Have they actually done it? Do they understand what level of chakra that came from? Because if they did, why would they be teaching algebra to a child that's still learning how to stand up right and not fall over? Let's talk about channeling. And again, I'm a channel. What the fuck's up with all of these energies coming through and saying this crap? The aliens, the archangels, whatever. Why are you teaching these concepts and not the basics? Do we really need to learn about timeline shifting? you know, said with arrogance, like, it's so simple, why don't you just do that? To a child that's still learning how to stand on its legs and that's what it needs help with? And you come through the body with the arrogance? It's so simple. Do you really understand how to help us? Are you qualified to be here giving us advice? How about that? Because if you can't help humanity's group mind as a whole and see what we actually need, should we be listening to these goddamn energies? Is my point. What good are they? What good are they? They're confusing us. They're telling us things we can't achieve, possibly achieve, as an achievable goal, which sets us to fail, which of course gives us another excuse for the mind and emotions to use that for the chakras that's closed as the physical reason for the lower energies. But wait, that's okay. There'll be a course next month on going to the sixth dimension, but our life stays the same. Hey, there's another reason. There's something wrong with me. Because if all of these energies and people are telling me to do these things and I keep ending up in the same place, it must be my fault. Brothers and sisters, you are being misled. If they're not talking about the basics, how to connect, how to simply open your chakras by feeding them the energy that is required to run a 10K race. Stop attending. Challenge them. Tell them they're full of shit, is my point. Enough. We've got the new energy coming in. We've got the changes that are before us. We've got our society literally falling apart down around our ears, and we are not ready. And do you know why? Because for every person that has stood there and said, I am here to shed the light during this time of change, the light that they're shedding is not enough if you put them in a dark closet to find the doorknob out. My evidence? Do we need to look any further than what's going on around us? Where are our prophets? Where are the people that can actually heal? Where are the inspired tinkerers that's creating things that we need right now to help our society? Where are the channelers that are coming through with information to actually allow the chakra system to come into alignment so we can be in the moment? Where are the people in the moment? We've got Eckhart Tolle, we've got some Indian saints, we've got, the Dalai Lama. Where's the rest? Where the hell are they? We got conspiracy theorists and people teaching concepts that they don't actually understand because it doesn't actually solve anything. It's teaching advanced calculus to someone that's not ready for it because we haven't taken care of the basics. So I'm sure this is going to get a lot of reactions. Bring it on. Because at this point, honestly, I don't see a purpose for me in this community anymore. Because me talking about this, I brought up one of Spirit's concepts of healing is not necessary, and I had a woman have such a violent reaction to me. She tried to come after me, in that sense, personally, and attack my integrity, and that I think I got off easy. People are set in their ways. And as much as what I know, what I just gave was gold, Guaranteed no one's watching this. All right, guys. Have a great day.